Hi everybody, it's Kendrick from Providence Tarot coming to you with your weekly messages for the first week of December. Happy holidays. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you're in the United States and if you celebrate, because we are a country of immigrants and everyone does not celebrate the same holidays. Anyway, I would like to take the time to thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you are watching this on YouTube, then follow me on Instagram. It's Providence Tarot. I also have a personal account that's NYC Kendrick. And if you're watching this on IG, then make sure that you go over to YouTube and you hit the subscribe button once you get to the Providence Tarot channel and page. Okay, everybody, so I'm going to get to the weekly messages. A card fell out for everyone, and it's a really good one, very important one, so I'll get to that one first. So, everyone, the card that fell out for all of us this week is the Nine of Pentacles, and that's Venus in Virgo. Venus is exalted in Pisces, and being that Virgo is the sign opposite Pisces, that means that Venus would be in her fall in Virgo. So this is talking about you experiencing pleasure through being discriminate, through making the right choices and decisions that are based on a value system, right? That is expressed when you go about, your goals in life, okay? So how you achieve your goals is influenced by the value systems that you have, right? In the place that you've come from. What's necessary for you to experience that pleasure. It means that you have to be detail-oriented and you have to be able to make some sacrifices in some places, right? So that you can serve yourself, because some of us sometimes let things influence us that aren't necessarily in our best interest, okay? So this is you thinking about what's going to be in your best interest, because Virgo is talking about practicing healthy habits, right? It's also talking about, your rhythm, right? The nature of you. So you do understand that what might be innate to you may not always be a quality that is desired, right? It may not be able to get you where you want to go. So if we can make some adjustments, right, and do what's necessary for us to experience the pleasure, right? Because this is talking about physical pleasure. It's really opposite the Nine of Cups, which is also a wish card. So this is talking about getting what you want, but doing the work that you have to do to get it. So you're not just wishing and wanting, you're actually getting what you desire, right? It's goal-oriented because it's a 9, and that's related to the moon, evolution, and change, and also related to the sign of Sagittarius and the 9th house. Okay, we just had Venus be conjunct the galactic center with Jupiter in Sagittarius just a couple of days ago. So that energy is really sort of related to this energy here too in this card, the Nine of Pentacles. I'm sorry I didn't show it to you, but here it is. This is a cornucopia that comes from, decisiveness, okay? Resolute, okay? We're trying to find a resolution to certain things that we want to bring into form, right? But it's talking about how we go about achieving those things, Sometimes you have to do things differently to achieve what you wanted to achieve all along, Stepping out of the patterns that we have allowed ourselves to attach to, just because of what we believe ourselves to be capable of. Aries, this is going to be your card for the first week of December. Whoa! You got the Hermit, which is number 9, okay? That's related to Sagittarius, the 9th house. It's also related to Virgo. And for you, this is your 6th house of health. So you could be, it's your 6th house of health, but then it's also your 9th house of, because it's a 9, Sagittarius, right? It's related to that, which is talking about like where you see yourself going. You could be traveling within to discover some things about your experience that bring about truths to you that are turning on a light switch, and you're having these epiphanies, right? You're allowing yourself to see one side of a situation and the other side, right? One side is obvious to you, but the other side, it's going to take you digging a little bit deeper, right? Maybe even practicing some spirituality that's going to help influence and encourage you to come to this epiphany, right? This isn't anything that someone else can tell you. This is you going through an experience, and you have your analysis of this experience that is actually bringing about, some awareness to some things for you, and this is Virgo. So, and Virgo is also talking about, how well you do something. It's the craftsmanship also for some of you. So it's kind of like being able to use this epiphany that you're having as a tool and a way so that to get you to evolve into something new, because this is talking about resolution and completion and getting from the beginning to the end of something. You're almost there. I feel like you're just ironing out the details. There might have to do some details with traveling or movement. Yeah, all of that. You're going in, right? You're coiling in. You might even be distancing yourself, right, from the outside world. You know what I mean? You could just be kind of like creating a safe space for yourself to have these epiphanies in, and to just kind of like, dream a little bit more. Be influenced by spirit, to be honest with you, at 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Thanks, Aries. Taurus, this is your card for the first week of December. Thank you so much, Taurus. Let's see what your card is. You got the Page of Rods. Okay, so the Page of Rods is fire and it's earth. Okay, so we're trying to really do something. We're trying to establish something through action, right? So you could be getting actively involved. You're very enthusiastic. You're sort of gung-ho. We might even need you to slow down a little bit so that you can actually really see what it is that you're trying to do. I know you're excited. I know you can see like something happening growth-wise, and you might be trying to push it forward a little bit quicker than it wants to be moved. You know what I mean? And the Page of Rods definitely has a thing or two to learn about being too abrupt or sort of like, impulsiveness, right? So some of you Tauruses might be feeling very impulsive just because you're excited about something. But then again, you know that there's something that has potential. There's something that can be promised from this, you engaging in this activity that's going to cultivate something that's real, right? That's going to bring something into your reality that may change it for you. It's a change of phase, right? You're getting excited about that. You know that something will change for you for the better or for the good, right? And you're just really excited about whatever that is. But you need to slow down, right? There's already growth that's happening because you're given this opportunity, right? Because you've experienced a level of growth, or you've experienced some kind of achievement with something that you were actively involved in, right? And it's something that's at the beginning stages, right? So that's also something with Taurus, right? It's an early sign in the zodiac. It really is fixed on materializing things. And it's like, wow, wait, you have like 10 more signs to go through. Like, there's more materializing that can take place. This is just the beginning, Taurus. Gemini, this is your card for the first week of December. Knight of Cups. This energy squares you. This is Pisces energy, okay? This is a court card, okay? So you might be dealing with the Pisces, Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising, especially if it's your first house. But this is mutable water, and it's also fire. So these elements don't necessarily mix. So there could be some discomfort in how you feel about a situation, or you just might be intuitively picking up something that's making you feel, less than confident about the way that you feel. Your emotions might be a little bit confusing to you. You might be creating your own illusions. You know what I mean? You might be intimidated by the way that you feel about something that might be unclear to you. This is 1/3 Aquarius, so it really is trying to ask you and trying to prompt you to change the way that you might be looking at it and try to detach from it emotionally. You know what I mean? Because this is a mutable card, but it is 1/3 of the fixed sign of Aquarius. So this could be in your thought process, in your psyche, right? In your mind, it could just be being this way because this is the way that you have sort of like trained yourself to think and feel, or this is the way that you have been trained to think and feel just by way of all of the experiences that you have had, right? So yes, you are picking up energy, but is that energy coming from other people, or is it something that already existed inside of you? You see what I'm saying? So the perspective, what we're trying to get you to see is that you're being emotionally triggered by something that really is not anyone else's fault. Right? This is also asking you to be a little bit more compassionate towards others, right? Because you could be picking up on the wrong energy, right? You could be getting mixed signals, right? It's almost like you might be picking up on other people's energy, you think, but it's really just you picking up on your own energy. And you might be intimidated by that. And it's like other people are the reason why you are intimidated by your own emotions because they are mirrors to you, Gemini. Right? Or this could just be you being more compassionate towards others because you know that you might intimidate them emotionally, or maybe you both intimidate each other emotionally. Right? All right, Gemini. Thank you. Oh, the bell is ringing. Cancer. You know I love you guys. I'm a Cancer moon. Okay. Here we go. Your card for the first week of December, Cancer, is the Ace of Rods. And this is potential. This is energy. This is awareness. This is the acknowledgement of something. This is also your physical body. It's yang energy. How you put an opportunity that is positioned in front of you into action, right? Because when I think of the aces, I think of Mercury, okay? But I also think of Aries. And Aries is very much focused on what is put in front of them, right? Because, so you could be dealing with an Aries. You could even be dealing with a Capricorn, you know, which opposes you. And, you know, when something is put in front of you, you're faced with the opposition, right? So this is also just you sort of relying on yourself and relying on what it is that you need to do and what it is that you want to do and what you're capable of, because the aces are also talking about, you know, your awareness of what you're capable of, right? And it also challenges you. The ace challenges you because it brings something right there, smack dab in front. And it's like, what are you going to do with this opportunity? What are you going to do with what you've learned and now you can apply it? So this is talking about the application of something, right? That is learned, that you have learned, but it's going to, how you apply what you've learned is going to be through your actions, because you actually have grown. Actually, how are we going to actualize something? And that's what the aces are also talking about, actualizing something, right? Because when you think of the magician, he has all of those things on the table. Actualizing water, actualizing fire, actualizing earth, actualizing air, as above, so below, actually, right? So, what are you going to do, Cancer? Because I feel like something is coming to a completion, or something has come to a completion, or maybe you find yourself at the end of a situation or a circumstance, or something is definitely changing for you. At 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Thanks, Cancer. Leo, this is your card for the first week of December. Ooh. This is pretty good. You got the Queen of Rods. So this is cardinal fire, which is Aries, but you share similar planets and you share the same element with Aries. Okay? So this is talking about capability. This is talking about ability. It's talking about, you know, creation. It's talking about, you know, manifestation. It's talking about work. It's talking about your responsibilities, right? Leo, sun, moon, or rising. You know, there's something that is challenging you in a powerful way to transform who you are, right? And by transformation, I'm saying that there is something that you have experienced, that you have learned, that you know and that you feel, okay? Those are all the signs, the 4 signs that come before you. And how are you going to put all of those things now into form, into a ball, right, of energy, and throw that ball of energy somewhere, right? Because we're in a time that trines you. Sagittarius trines you, Leo, and that's throwing a ball of fire somewhere. But you are the ball of fire, right? That's what we're talking about. And there's something that needs to be expressed through action here. I feel like creatively you want to do something. I feel like creatively there's like a passion that is burning deep inside of you for something, to do something, but it's almost kind of like, you know, you're fixed. So there's some parts about you, or there's some attitude, or there's something about it, this thing, this energy that you find yourself in, right, constantly, that wants to change something, that wants to bring something into form in a new way. Still you, still the same thing, but it's at 2:22. That is a theme today. Every sign, check the video at 2 minutes and 22 seconds, if you can. Okay, so if you can, you will, right? Oh my God. Virgo, this is your card for the first week of December. Wow. Ace of Cups, Virgo. This is good. This is spiritual cleansing. This is the awareness that a spiritual cleansing has to take place. Or this is allowing yourself to let go of an emotion, right? So that you can anticipate and accept, open yourself up to receive a new feeling that's going to do away with this old feeling, Virgo, that you've been having in terms of career, in terms of your own authority and your own strength and who you are. You know what I mean? Because the aces are who you are. You are creativity, right? You do like to make things new again because you are mutable, right? And water makes things new again. You're trying to experience some level of flow, you know? You're trying to align with the level of flow at 1 minute and 11 seconds, you know? The Ace of Cups is, you know, like the moon. It's security. It's emotional security. But you are responsible for your emotional security, not other people, you know? And you might just be becoming aware of that more and more. Right, Virgo, sun, moon, or rising? And Mercury as well. This is also allowing yourself to reflect on what you have acknowledged and what you know that has come from a subconscious place. You know, because this is something that's coming from the depths of like the 10 of Cups energy, which is Pisces, and it's reducing itself into the Ace of Cups, right? Which to me is the idea of how you feel about something. And it also is, you know, your emotional reaction. That's more of the 2. But this is your emotional awareness, your emotional instinct. And sometimes our emotional instinct can get the best of us at 2 minutes and 22 seconds. I don't know what's happening today. Okay? Sometimes your emotional instinct can get the best of you. And you have to realize where that's coming from, you. So you have to cleanse yourself so it doesn't come from you in that way. You know what I mean? And you make it about, you know, a lack of control, right? But I feel like you are controlling your emotions quite well. And not necessarily controlling them in a way that a Scorpio would, or a Capricorn would. Possibly the way that a Capricorn would. Anyway, I feel like you're doing well. Continue to cleanse yourself spiritually, Virgo. You know you need to, because you're always taking on things and the energy of other people. Thank you, Virgo. Libra, you know I was ready. Let's ring the bell. Let me have a drink of water. This is going to be your card for the first week of December. Jupiter's in your 4th house. Home and family. Emotional awareness. Emotional impulse. Let's see what your card is. Wow! I love it. Right? Ace of Swords. This is masculine energy, right? This is your awareness. This is information. This is your knowledge. This is truth. This is trusting in your truth. This is also a change of perspective. It could be a change of an idea. It could be a change of focus. Some of you are changing focus. Some of you want to change focus. Some of you want to change your perspective. And I feel like you are clearing out your mind in terms of something, you know, because the Ace of Swords is a reduction of the 10 of Swords, which is the Lord of Ruin. So something is ending so that something else can begin for you. And this is going to change focus. This is going to give you a breath of fresh air. This is going to allow you to see that you can go to greater heights. You know, greater heights are always possible. You know what I mean? Upward and onward, okay? And there's a level of dignity here with this Ace of Swords because it's talking about your acknowledgement of where your responsibility lies, because the aces are also talking about responsibility. And this is also talking about work as well, right? You could be being distracted, or you might be trying to focus because you might be feeling, you might be a little distracted, right? So you're trying to focus. You're trying to pull that energy in. I feel like you are feeling kind of fiery, and you're doing a lot of things here because the Eighth is very much Athame energy. It really is talking about that yang, okay? This is allowing yourself to be mature in your perspective, right? And when you're faced with this new reality, right? This new idea, you know, 3 signs have already gotten aces, right? Cancer got the Ace of Rods. Virgo got the Ace of Cups. Libra, we got the Ace of Swords. Okay? What else do I want to say about this? This is good. This is change. Okay? For sure. Fresh idea. Fresh face to the world. You know the rest. All right, Libra. Scorpio. This is your card for the first week of December. Let's see what it is. You got the Queen of Pentacles. This is Cardinal Earth. And this is Capricorn energy. And it is also a little bit of Sagittarius. Okay? So you could be realizing that your experience has led you to want to change something in a meaningful way. You might be feeling like you have applied yourself a lot, and you deserve something. You deserve, you know, to benefit from the work and the effort that you have put into something. Maybe even helping others, you know. There could even be a deadline that you might be faced with, you know, because Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn energy, and that's talking about time as well. So you could be dealing with a deadline on time, or you might be trying to work with time. You could be building something, and time might be sensitive, right? It might be sensitive to time. I feel like you definitely are working hard, and you're staying focused, and you're applying yourself in a very meaningful way. I feel like you have a lot of things on your plate, but you're also still trying to, you know, nurture what needs to be nurtured, and do it in a way that's not going to be affected by, you know, whatever hardships you might be experiencing or going through. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you have to detach your emotions from work, right? It's almost kind of like, and there is this sense of detachment here because it is 1/3 Sagittarius, right? And it's saying like, well, I do have these roots, and I do have these emotional attachments to this fixed area, right? Or to this place, because Sagittarius is coming from Scorpio, and we just came from that your season, right? We just came from your season, that fixed emotion, right? And then it's kind of like, all right, well, I'm moving from that place that I know, or I'm moving from that place that I've allowed myself to stay. So you have moved from that place, and now you're trying to see what it is that you're going to get now that you have moved from that place that you always were. You've gone through this cycle, right? This evolution, this growth. Time has done something. It has seasoned you, and you might even be feeling a little bit more emotionally mature. And that's a good thing too. So you feel like you're ready for whatever this change is that you want to apply. So it's almost kind of like you're applying the change. You know what I mean? It's not like change is happening, and right, it is, but it's through the implementation that comes from you. You know, accessing something, accessibility. I don't know why those words are coming up, Scorpio. Are you accessible? Okay, that's going to be you, Scorpio. Thanks. Sagittarius, this is your card for the first week of December. It's your season. Happy Sag season. Happy birthday. We're still on Scorpio over here with these witch things. I don't know why we're still doing that. But, you know, it's getting real witchy up in here all the time. Okay, 5 of Wands. This is Saturn and Leo. So, Sag, you might be experiencing some kind of conflict in your beliefs, or conflict in what you believe in doing. You know, you might even just be feeling like there's some competition out there in terms of work, or you might even be having a family member compete with you, or you might just be experiencing some kind of tension with a family member, right? You know, this is kind of like you fighting for what you believe in as well, right? But they're saying that you're fighting for what reason, you know? It's like pick your own battles, right? Pick your own battles. Because it's like when you start to compete with someone, are you competing with them or are you competing with yourself? Because there's some level of validation that's needed here at 1 minute and 11 seconds, right? But it's like, are you seeing what's happening? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, if you need the validation, and the validation comes from you wanting to see others as not being on the same level as you, then are you really validated, right? It's kind of almost like, you know, fooling yourself or making yourself think that you're something that you're not, okay? And that's what this 5 of Wands is talking about, because Saturn is like, we want you to really see what the reality is. Leo, that energy is kind of like very creative, and the sun feels like it knows all the possibilities of things, right? So it has this sort of grandiose energy about it. And that's what this is. It's like everybody in this 5 of Wands is like, well, I am the best, or I know more, you know, or whatever. But it is related to the 5, and it's talking about conflict and being in the middle of a conflict or something. And it's like, there's more for you to learn here. You know what I mean? And once you really allow yourself to understand that the piece of the puzzle that is missing is really the piece of the puzzle that's in the wrong place, that needs to be taken out and reapplied. You know what I mean? In a different kind of way. So this is kind of like you're not focusing on, you know, what others are doing. Focus on what you're doing, right? Because you're not trying to learn about what they're doing. You're trying to learn about what you're doing. Okay, Sag. Capricorn, this is your card for the first week of December. You got the 10 of Cups. And this is talking about career. This is talking about how you feel about your career. It's talking about your responsibilities and how they might affect you emotionally. It also is talking about you having compassion towards yourself and others while being affected by your responsibilities, because sometimes your responsibilities weigh on you, just like Saturn weighs on us. Saturn rules the 10th house. It's there right now, and Mars is actually exalted in the 10th house. So being that this is Mars in Pisces, Mars is in the 12th house when it's in Pisces, right? Which is a blockage. So it's saying that you need to allow yourself to just kind of be a little bit more patient, right? With whatever this is that you're trying to manifest. Some of you guys, this could be something with relationship, or something with love, or something with what you create, you know what I mean, over time, that you might be putting some love or some energy into, because Mars is energy, Mars is passion. It's what you are passionate about that you actually, you know, really focus on, or you put the most energy into, you know what I mean? And Pisces is kind of like that time where we've gotten around the zodiac and we put so much energy into everything that it's kind of like exhausted, right? So you could be even feeling like emotionally exhausted with something, or you might even just be feeling kind of like you might be all over the place emotionally, or you know, you might be confused by how you feel about something that might have to do with career, or some professionalism in some kind of way, because it is a 10 and the 10th house is Capricorn. That's kind of like your midheaven. That's, you know, how other people see you. It's almost kind of like you want other people to see you as this individual, because it's Mars, that cares, right? So this could be you submitting, this could be you making sacrifices to show that you care about something, or, you know, something like that, you know what I mean? And this is kind of like, you know, what you're getting out of it is something that's more spiritual than physical. But some things that are spiritual to us, right, of spiritual importance, allow us to manifest physical things, right? So it's kind of like not necessarily about getting that thing that's going to make you feel like you're complete, right, within your emotional satisfaction, but it is kind of like you maybe revealing to yourself how you feel about something, or changing the way that you feel, that's going to allow you to see that you can actually have it. You're right. It's kind of confusing, but you know, it'll come into focus, right? It will, because it's a 10 and that's going to reduce to a 1. Okay, so it's also going to get you to a new feeling and a new appreciation, right? You're receiving something by way of you submitting to something, or letting go of something, or choosing to sacrifice some part of yourself, right? Thank you. Aquarius. Your card for the first week of December is the 8 of Cups. And this is Saturn and Pisces. It's talking about loss. It's also talking about, you know, staying attached to situations that may no longer be serving us because it's what's comfortable, right? We're fixed in our emotion, right? We're fixating on in an emotional state, right? Because it's an 8, so it's related to the 8th house of Scorpio, which is talking about transformation, okay? And the power of transformation. Saturn is talking about time. And sometimes time will erode, it will decay, right? And erosion and decay are all related to things that die, right? Which the 8th house is talking about death, being Scorpio. Pisces, being the last sign, is talking about endings as well. So they're saying that the time has come for something that you had an emotional attachment to end, right? It's time for you to realize that, you know, you're going against your destiny by not being able to acknowledge when something has served its purpose. You know what I mean? It's kind of like staying in the bath when the water has actually gone from like 100 degrees to like 50. It's like, why are you still in there? The water is no longer hot. It's no longer comfortable. You know what I mean? You can get out and be done with that. Okay, Aquarius, so you need to get out and be done with something, whatever that thing is for you. You know, something could be having some sort of emotional control over you, because it is emotions with it being an 8, right? And it is emotions with it being Pisces, but then it's also the mind. You know what I mean? So something could have control over your emotions and over your mind, or it could be interfering with the way that you see something, right? Realize where the codependency is. Pisces. Here we go. Your card for the first week of December is the 7 of Wands. And this card is talking about, you know, what is it? It's Saturn and Leo. Leo is talking about passionate feelings. It's a 7, so it's talking about passionate feelings, right? And acting on those passionate feelings, right? You might be feeling like it's you against the world, right? You might be feeling like you are fighting up against a gang of many, and there's one of you, you know? This is also saying that there's some level of pride here that you're trying to exercise, right? You're pushing through because you feel like you have to show your pride so that people respect you, or so that people, you know, give you the authority that you feel like you deserve. You know, this is kind of like you also being a little bit emotionally exhausted, or just being physically exhausted from all of the work that you're putting into something. Because it's Mars, right? And Mars likes being in Leo because it feels the fire and it feels the passion, but sometimes it can get a little too hot. You know what I mean? And it's almost kind of like you need to turn down the heat, right? So you might be moving forward quickly with something out of your need to express yourself, express yourself through action, but it's coming from a place of emotion, right? And it's saying that, you know, you might even be blaming other people for the way that you are acting. You know what I mean? And it's really no one else's fault, right? Because this is really your journey. You are the one that is either staying in one place or you're moving forward from that place. You know, it's also talking about decisions and how you relate to something. You know, how are you relating to your experience? Is it getting the best of you? Are you handling yourself well? How are you handling yourself? What are you doing? Right? How do you feel about things that you're passionate about? Right? Where do your passions lie? This is also talking about, valor. Is that what I'm thinking about? Or just kind of like a need to prove something. So I feel like you definitely have something to prove, and you might be feeling like you have a responsibility to prove yourself to something, or to prove yourself to a relationship. It could even have something to do with family, because Leo, the 5th house, is also talking about family, right? And the 7th house of Libra, which sextiles Leo, is talking about relationships. So it could be relationships or family relationships. And this is how you are relating to your own actions, right? What you have done. Or what you might be feeling like you have allowed to happen. Right? Okay, Pisces, weigh it out. Understand that you have a responsibility to act in some way. Okay? You're the one. All right, everybody. Usually I flip over the deck to show you what the last card is, or the first card, but this week it's the last card because the card fell out. And the card that fell out, that was the first one that I read for everyone, was the 9 of Pentacles. So let's see what was at the bottom of the deck. The Lovers, which is Mercury, right? And also the 6th house, which is Virgo, right? And it's funny because the card that came out is the 9 of Pentacles, and that's Venus and Virgo. And the Lovers, Venus is the goddess of love. So this is talking about reciprocity, what you put into something, what you get back. The understanding that people have towards you and what you need, right? So that we can cultivate a healthy understanding for each other. You know what I mean? It's like, if I'm not willing to understand what it is that you need, or if I'm not willing to understand, how you think, or ways about you, then how do I expect you to understand how I think or ways about me? It really is a dance. It really is talking about also having compassion, right? It is, because on an esoteric level, because esoterically, the moon rules Virgo, right? We could look at it like that. Okay. Anyway, I'm about to go way too far. But this is a 6. And this is also talking about, your body, or the rhythms, right? The moods that you might go through. It's also talking about what you feed yourself, what you feed to your mind. You know what I mean? Because it's also talking about the influence that others have over your mental health and your thought process and the psychology of you. So other people are really there around you to bring into your awareness things about yourself, right? That's what's so amazing about like just being alive, is that you're not alone, right? There are other people here that are meant to show you different things about you, and you're meant to show them different things about themselves. So you're meant to learn from each other, because Mercury is talking about learning information, processing things. So how are you processing your thoughts? How are you processing, other people, and what's being communicated to you? Yes. And also the habits of your mind, you know what I mean? We all have some really, I think about crazy stuff all the time, but I have Pluto in my first house. So it makes me kind of like, very something. But I'm a Libra. Anyway, just make sure that you're taking care of yourself. I would say that for sure. Be very discriminate about what you put into your body, or just try to be a little bit healthy. Don't eat so much, don't drink so much. And when I say don't eat so much, don't eat so much bad stuff. I do it all the time too. But I also eat very healthy stuff too. So, it's a balance, right? Yes. That's all I'm going to say for that. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and IG. It's Providence Tarot. Okay? And I will talk to you next week.